think with regard to the whole situation, I mean, people look at it, he was let out multiple times. So it's not a matter of law enforcement, it's a matter of enforcing the laws. Either we have laws and we abide by them and we put criminals, especially repeat criminals, in jail. But to Sue's point, I agree 100%. We don't have facilities, not even for people for extreme mental health issues, but even for people today, we have so many kids who cannot get into institutions. That's not a permanent place. It would be temporary. So an example would be in Traverse City, Michigan. I'm from Michigan, but I don't live in Traverse City. They used to have a mental institution that was shut down years ago. Where did everybody go? What happened? And recently there was an encampment there, and the city decided to, eliminate the encampment, move everybody. Well, where did they go? What happened to them? So now they're just roaming the streets. It's not any better. And so the question is, what do you do for people who need long-term care? But what do you also do for the young people, adults, and kids who are just struggling because of all of these, even from the phone's perspective and social media, anxiety, depression, self-harm? I know multiple people who have tried to get into facilities and they can't. There are no beds there. And it's not a permanent thing either. It could be a temporary, but there's no place to go. And they call and they plead and they can't get in, even to the point that you look at people who have substance abuse problems, same issue. They have a hard time getting into these facilities. So for me, it's a bigger conversation. One, it is have to do with crime, holding people accountable and not being soft on crime, not letting people out and things of that nature. But from a separate issue, just as a country, every time there is a school shooting that we want to go to, let's ban the guns. It's, the guns, blah, 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 blah. Well, it's people. It is people that's doing it. It's a mental health breakdown. My son's at MSU and they had a shooter near their school last year. And the person had a previous issue with the gun and they never took it away. So there's a balance between gun laws, but I am also believe that they should not be taking away guns. It's not necessarily a guns issue. It's a person issue. And how do we manage the mental health of people in this, in the United States? What do we do in that space? And I'm not sure what the right answer is, but we need to do something different besides saying, well, crime is going down. That's not the answer. And from my perspective, every time I hear that, that's irrelevant. It's irrelevant who committed the crime. It's irrelevant what the statistics are. If you live there or if that's your child, it doesn't matter. It was one person too many. And that's really what I think we need to talk about.
Thank you. Lyndsay, comment or question?
Yeah, Sue, thank you for sharing your story, and Tammy, you as well. I was actually a caretaker for someone in my family who had extreme mental health issues and in a lot of psych wards and mental institutions with them. And so I feel your pain. It is very hard to get people help, and it takes the work of a family to make sure that those people get help. And I'll never forget, this person was endangering other people and there weren't enough beds available. And I had to beg a social worker to get us in another hospital an hour away. And it's a lot of work. So it's definitely an important conversation that needs to be had in this country about mental illness and making sure that people read the red flags and don't just feel bad when someone is a danger to society or to themselves, to take it very, very seriously, and not just thinking they can solve the issue themselves, because the mind is a powerful thing. And when it's sick, it can do terrible things to itself or to others. So I think it is a very important conversation to have in this country. But I also think, you have to have the conversation about, I will say Chrissy is right on the first point of, we have to get ahead of this issue by not just talking about it, but by doing things. And I think too often it's nice to say these flowery words, especially when you have a shooting and say, oh, this person has mental illness. Well, who's doing anything about making sure that our systems are better and they're not broken? And I don't see enough action being taken in that way, in a serious way, or judges being held accountable for letting people off. If this guy has had mental health issues, as his family has said, for such a long time, then why is he out on the streets? Why is he able to commit such a heinous crime? And I think that people do care about this, because you do wonder who is around you. I live in a city and I ride public transportation. I did today. And I remember sitting on the subway car and putting myself in a position where I could see everyone around me. I was in a part of town that I thought I should be watching my six. And as any woman who watched what happened, last month in Charlotte, it is scary And it is scary for anybody. And I think that parents or moms or dads watching that are afraid. And so, it's not just good to talk about it. It needs to be backed up with action. And I think the party that can do that the best, and not just platitudes, but in real ways, will make some gains. And I think that's why Mark is talking about this being a watershed moment. You have to have both sides of the conversation here. And whoever can start doing that in real ways, I think can start making gains, not just politically, but for the betterment of our society as a whole.
Chris, did you have a question for one or both of our community members?
No, more of a comment,
Yeah.
which is just
Okay,
to say
sure.
I'm incredibly gratified by the conversation. I really, really appreciate both you, Sue and Tammy, sharing your experiences. And I'm gratified by the fact that I think we are largely on the same page here. I think we're all saying the same thing, which is that this is not just a guns issue, this is a mental health issue, and that we need to be funding these services so that we don't have a lack of beds, so that people who deserve help can actually get it in this country. That's not what we're seeing right now. We need more robust social services, and we need those services to get to the people who need them. So again, so that we're not just reacting after the fact and offering thoughts and prayers, but we're actually able to stop crime before it starts.
Our sponsor, again, tonight, our good friends at Cozy Earth. And what's great about them is great stuff. You've heard me talk about before. The bedding's great. The shirts are great. But you also hear me talk quite a bit about the pants. And we got a letter this morning I read on the morning meeting from a guy, a famous viewer of the morning meeting, who said he can't get enough of the pants. And he doesn't like buying clothes, hates clothes, he said. I don't know if he's a nudist, but he said he hates clothes. But he says his wife says he looks great in the pants. Here's the thing about these pants and why I recommend you buy them. You got your drawer with all your pants, maybe a shelf, maybe a drawer, wherever you keep your pants. These pants, you go over like Jerry Seinfeld, his favorite t-shirt. All I do, I got about 6 pairs of pants that fit me. I just take these every time. These are the kind of pants you take them every time. So if you need a good pair of pants, you need your like go-to pants, a man, woman, a child, go to cozyearth.com, buy them 40% off. Use the code two-way for 40% off at cozyearth.com. Built for real life, made to keep up with yours. Cozy Earth, telling you, buy the pants. That was a delicious video experience. I think you'll agree. Now, what you need to do in return for getting to enjoy that is hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss a thing.